Today, Anders and Larsen and I, Christian Joite from Software AG, would like to present to you how it's possible to connect the Wittra devices with our Cumulocity IoT platform. If you don't mind, Anders, please jump right into describing Wittra and what you think makes it unique and what your devices are mainly being used for and what you offer.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here. Wittra, a company who have been working in 10 years in the field of IoT. We work mainly with the positioning and sensor data collection in really challenging environments. It could be heavy industry, mining, tunnels, agriculture, airports. So it's a solution that is covering a lot of different areas. And we have a system that is really bringing in several standards or several solutions into one. So we have a gateway, Wittra Gateway, we're a unified gateway where you could have both the mesh network, the 6-low PAN measurement that we base it on, as well as you can have a star configuration or a LoRaWAN or a IoT into the same gateway. Into the same gateway, into the same data stream, and through the same cloud service. So you have one system that is managing both these two worlds of positioning in tougher environments, as well as collecting sensor data from our own sensors, as well as third-party sensors.
Is my understanding correct? If I pick the Wittra Gateway and the mesh router, I always use the 6-low PAN mesh network.
That is correct.
And when I go for LoRaWAN and IoT, it's the, let's say, star network, as you said, and you don't have the mesh built up. You just have a direct sensor tag to gateway connection, right?
That's correct. So when you build your mesh network, we are using the device, the Wittra Chameleon device, which is used both as a mesh, could be used for a mesh router, positioning beacon, as well as a sensor tag. So in this tag, you have the radio, but you also have a number of sensors, basic sensors. And with your mesh network, you can build your local coverage. And with the positioning beacons, you put that in the endpoints where you just like anchor points for your positioning, which is these are low power. So those you can put on battery packs out in areas where you not have any, say, additional power available. But then you can also use this as a IoT device, for example, and then you could add on a number of sensors. You have, this is like a click-on for environmental, so like humidity, temperature, additional temperature, light, as well as then like air pressure. But we also have click-on sensors where you could put in third-party sensors. It could be everything from something that you're measuring the current. You could use it for temperature, like on another third-party probe. But you can also include analog, digital, but even pulses into one of these click-on sensors. So you get the best of two worlds, both the easy to set up with the Wittra devices, but the variety of devices that you have out there to use the Wittra as the transport network, both in the same way as with IoT as a star configuration, or with the mesh network, with the Wittra mesh network. But then we put this into our device management platform, from where we then can stream this data into someone who is an expert in visualizing this data and collecting data from different areas, like the Cumulocity. And then we have made a very easy setup or integration with Cumulocity, because we really wanted to make it easy, like a plug and play. So you could start with the initial starter kit from Wittra, where it includes this gateway, but then 8 of these devices, and you will be able to build either an area with IoT, for example, with these devices, or with a mesh network with a number of mesh routers for the coverage and then the sensors. This can be set up just in an hour or two, and then you will do the quick integration that we will show you as well then to Cumulocity.
So it's not only easy to set up the hardware, but there's also the certified integration. that kind of follows along the path of easy setting up the hardware. And as a prerequisite, of course, you need the gateway and the sensors to follow up what we are doing today. You would need to connect already your Wittra gateway to the Wittra cloud. If you don't know how to do that, it's documented on docs.wittra.io, as you can see under this prerequisites list. Also, you need a Cumulocity IoT tenant. You can get one for free. And the steps you need to follow up are pretty easy, as we believe. You just need to create a user that the integration itself uses, and the exact role definition, we have described it in a separate document, and you can find it under the description in this video. So you do that starting from the Cumulocity administration UI. You hop over into this section, and then there is this role definition quick link, for example. You can then add a global role, follow up the defined steps, and pick the right roles that we described, and then create a new user for it. In this case, for example, we have a Wittra API integration user. So that's already everything you have to do as a preparation on Cumulocity side. And then it's just a matter of logging into Wittra Cloud and creating and configuring the integration. And that's already everything you need to do. Then you can start your IoT journey and realize your IoT use cases. So let's look at your screen, Anders, and investigate what you need to do and how that looks like. And I'm curious if we can get that done already in under 1 minute, right? That was kind of the benchmark.
Exactly. Thank you for the challenge. So here we are now in the Wittra portal. And I have here registered a really small network with the Wittra gateway. I have both the 6LoWPAN part with one mesh router, in this case only, and then a sensor tag. But also I have a number of IoT devices, both the Wittra ones as well as a third party. Now, when I would like to get this integration done with the Cumulocity, I only choose in this portal integrations. I will set up an additional one, create one integration. I make a choice of Cumulocity. Then I need to know where I will pick this data or send this data. I will go to the Cumulocity URL. Simple, copy, paste. Then I need to have the tenant ID. This one as well will find in the Cumulocity. I will go to my profile, copy tenant ID, go back. Then I need to have the correct address.
Like the technical user we previously defined.
Exactly. And a password. Done. So the system will start to set up the integration. And as always, you will have your timer. And as soon as this integration is set up, all will be populated, and so it's done. I will move over to the Cumulocity. I will go to Device Manager. Then choose all the devices here. And I can see that all these devices are now populated into this system. And for example, if I had one of these devices here where I could see the environmental sensor, I would take a copy of that one, do a search. It will show up. And here I will have the data now will start presented. I can go down here. I will find location. Okay, I haven't reported yet.
So I think the setting up took, I think, 2 minutes, including the explanation around it. So which is pretty fast. And I think, yeah, it's just common that you just need the system to another minute to show some data. So don't worry on that aspect.
Yep. So
I don't know how you configured the sending interval. So that might be related to the configuration of the integration itself. I mean, there's freedom how to send the data that already shows up. You are free to configure how frequently the data shall be sent. Okay, thanks, Anders, for showing us how to do that. And I believe you cover a large variety of use cases, and you are already can be found around very diverse applications. I read about that you're active in the field of mining, hospitals, airplanes. I think there's a very long list. Could you give us a little bit more of an insight?
Yeah, for example, we are areas, just mentioning that we're using the 2 different standards. We have like sites where we are tracking like forklifts, just to avoid collisions and to find areas where you have a high risk of collisions. But in the same time, the same company like to keep on the data from sensors, which is really outside the factory or the storage area. And there we're using then IoT to collect this data into the same gateway, and they have like all this into one like palette of data, and just one integration, and that speeds up to get a result, but as well to make it easy, and just one single partner for the integration as well. Mining as well is always challenging, but the same portion. You need to build it easily because you have specified slots where you build it, and you need to get the data quickly to verify that you have done the correct installation. And this help with the Wittra portal as well with the Cumulocity. Will give you this one, as you say, in a few minutes.
Yep, perfect. Thank you very much, Anders. I really enjoyed seeing it myself also, and learning about it in a video always is more helpful than just scrolling through the documentation. So thank you very much for that. And I think it's a very impressive example on having a very powerful set of hardware, certified, good integration. In this case, it's a server-side integration, right? Your cloud solution sends the data to Cumulocity, and then on Cumulocity you get the full potential of leveraging IoT use cases like realizing some field service management use cases, getting third-party integrations also on board. So I think the part covering and getting the data is really well covered by Wittra, and we are lucky to and happy to have you as a device partner. So thank you very much, Anders, and see you next time.